I needed to find a reason for, try to make sense of what I was doing and the reason behind what I was doing. And I came across a transmedia storytelling course, which is kind of looking at how persons experience storytelling and stories across various mediums. And I created an Anansi story out of, for that kind of purpose. And the Yemoja's Anansi, when I wrote that first story, Anansi was a guy. And then when I came across a friend who told me about Yemoja as a water goddess, a few weeks later, I decided to change Anansi into a woman, and connects her with the water goddess Yemoja. And yeah, so it was just a way for me to make sense of what I was doing with my work, and got influenced by different stories of Western Africa and the goddesses, the water deities there.
Why Nancy?
Well, Anansi is a part of our culture that has, the Anansi stories have come from Africa, and I found that was important for me, given the fact that a few years ago I did the crossing across the Atlantic Ocean from off the coast of Africa to Antigua with Team Antigua Island Girls, and that left, I think, it made an impact on me in ways I didn't realize at the time. And I think it's just the impact of that has stewed in my mind, and has kept present somewhere there. And so it felt a natural fit to my own experiences, to have something that mirrored that crossing. And it's also a way to connect Caribbean culture to African culture. And yeah, it just seemed right. So I've had in my mind for a very long time an image of me in carnival gear underwater. I don't know why I had that image in my mind. I've had it in my mind for the last 3 or 4 years. And when I decided to do this, I actually was packing up, getting ready to pack to get to Australia. And I realized because of COVID, you know, I hadn't worn half the dresses I own. And so I was like going, found like as if I had like 12 dresses, and I was like, oh, okay. I had 12 nice dresses, and I was like, okay, that's nice. And maybe I could wear them underwater and see how that looks like. And I got some really good response from the Independence Day shoot I had done under the water. So I was like, okay, let me try doing something like that. It was a way to kill a few birds with one stone. I could, one, use the dresses that I haven't used because of COVID, so making myself feel pretty. Two, in a lot of different way, and in a way that people had responded to very well on my social media. And so I felt intrigued, I felt inspired to continue doing that. And three, you don't see a lot of persons of color in the water often in the way that I have done it. I don't think we see a lot of persons of color in the water, period. So it was a nice way to kind of just show that comfort in the water in a different way. When I looked at the dresses, and 12 of them, they kind of helped me shape what the story was. So it wasn't that the story came first and then the dresses came after. It was more the dresses came, the story came in spurts. And sometimes I was shooting these images even before I had completed the entire story. So as I was writing the book, the images are being shot. So there was a bit of interplay within knowing what the story was ahead of time, and then using the images, the dresses to help tell that story. And then sometimes it was a dress that kind of pushed the story along.
Can you talk to me about the making of this image? This is one of my favorite images in the book, by the way. Can you talk to me about the making of this image and how it connects?
Yeah. Okay, so this, this was actually one of the first, this is the first image we shot. We shot this at Half Moon Bay. And this was supposed to embody just light and sand and turquoise waters and just playfulness and joy. Like this was to be an innocence to it. And because this is where you meet the Yemoja character. And so this was really just about having fun and just playing with my body and the dress on the water, and kind of just trying to imagine what Yemoja would have felt just being in clear crystal blue waters.
Can you talk to me about this image and the making of this image and how it connects to the story?
Yeah, so this image is actually the second image we shot. We shot this the same day as the previous one. So it's interesting you managed to pick out those two. This one has the teardrops. We kind of created some tears with my makeup artist, Artie Jardeo. And it was to kind of, you're supposed to representing the loss that the character Anansi was feeling after boarding the slave ships and realizing that her people and her family, it's just all that she knew was gone and was slipping away. So it's just a very sad moment for her. First of all, discovered that I could actually complete a creative project, which was good. It felt amazing to be able to go from point A to point B in about 3 months. We started shooting in November, late October, early November. Yeah, it was actually November. We started shooting in November. So it was November, December, January. And my team was just amazing. It's just 3 of us, the photographer, makeup artist and art director, and myself. So the photographer was Rio from Stella Photography. And I mentioned my makeup artist and art director, Artie Jardeo. And I had worked with them prior on a different shoot for a friend of mine. And I liked that Rio was very willing to do almost anything and was very open to learning and a little bit of a bit adventurous. So he was willing to go in the water and take direction where we needed him to take direction, but also use his own expertise. And so that was great. And then Artie was able to not only just capture, like I let her kind of like give her the storyline, and I let her just spread her wings and fly. And she kind of made the artistry her own, and was very instrumental in terms of the art direction. Even like when taking with the photos, she was in the water as well, and helping to direct us to say, okay, the sun's coming, turn this way, turn that way, so we could get the best shot possible. And I mean, the 3 of us, I found it worked really well together. And it was just really nice to let persons be their creative selves without putting any real restrictions on them, but just working collaboratively. That was a very eye-opening process and a very empowering process. So I look forward to working with them again and other creatives. This is only part 1. This is the origin story, and this is the world in which I'm creating. I'd like to have different kind of stories told in different ways over the next few years. So,
So this
I'm
is
looking
just the
forward to
beginning.
the
There'll be
next
more
chapter.
stories. There'll be more stories in this world.
Yes, there will be.